And 1/4 of $3 million is 3/4 of a million, or $750,000, right? Okay, so what does that mean? $750,000. This step is called the catch up to B. Okay, so it's catch up to B because it's catching up to 20% of B. The reason why you have this formula, if you think about it, it says that this step right here is 20% of this and this, right? So the first step is to return the LP's capital. So that makes sense. Now, remember, carry interest is 20% of gains, right? So here, step B, we've allocated $3 million of gain to the LPs. Now, C is to catch up 20% of that $3 million. Now, well, isn't that 20% of $3 million? Isn't that just $600,000? Why is it $750,000? Because you need to add up the total that's distributed between these two, right? So here, if it's $3 million, and here is 750K, right? So together, these two steps equals 3.75. I'm off the page, 3.5 million, right? These step B and step B and C together is 3.75 million, and 750,000 is 20% of this number, right? So let's try that out. 750K divided by 3750 is 20%. Do you see that? So what this is doing is that what this formula is trying to say is that C needs to be 20% of B and C. Therefore, when you look at the gains that are distributed, this is not gain, right? This is just return on capital. So this formula is saying that B and C together, the GP, remember this goes to the GP, right? This goes to the LP and this goes to GP, right? The GP amount needs to be 20% of the total B and C. And then going forward, if we were to do 80-20, 80 to the LPs and 20 to the GP, then, here, after these two steps, we are already 20-80. Or 80-20, however you want to say it, right? 80 to the LP and 20 to the GP. So subsequently, if you go more 80-20, then this whole ratio after the distribution of return on capital will be 20-80. Does that make sense? So afterwards, it's going to be 20-80, right? Because B and C, once again, because B and C is already 20-80, afterwards 20-80, that's going to maintain the 20-80 ratio. So the third bucket is the first bucket is to LP, right, to LP. Second bucket is to LP again, because the LPs is going to say, we want to have a 6% return before you take any carry. That makes sense, right? And then, so the third bucket is to GP of 750K, to GP. And then the last bucket, whatever money is left over. So let's see, we have 10 million, that's 13 million. That's plus this one is 13.75 million. That's still less than 20, right? That's still less than 20 million. And then what's remaining, what is that? So 20 minus 13.75 million is 6.25 million. So here you have 6.25 million left. And that is, split 80 and 20. So 80 to LP, 20 to GP, right? And these are percentages, right? Does that make sense? So, so this is the return on capital, and all this right here, these three buckets are all gains, right? This is the return, and this is all gains. Okay. So let's calculate this out. 6.25 times 0.8 is 5 million. That's 5 million to the GP, or 5 million to the LP. 5 million. And then 0.2 is what? So 6.25 times 0.2. So that's 1.25. 1.25 million to the GP, right? All right, so let's calculate this up to see what the total is. LP, GP total. Okay. So the return on capital, that's return on capital. So let's not worry about that, because that's not, remember, that's not gain, right? So where the 80-20 is only gains. The LP here got 3 million, and then it got another 0.75 million, and then it got 5 million, right? And the GP, sorry, this is 7.75, 0.75 million is GP. So LP's got 3 million here, and then 5 million here, and GP's got 0.75 million here, and 1.25 million here, 1.25 million, right? So LP's got a total of $8 million, and GP's got a total of $2 million. Okay, so that is the 80-20, because we went back here. Remember, we have $20 million of equity. 10 million of it was to return on capital, so 10 million was a gain, right? And of the gains, the GPs get 2 million, which is 20%. LPs get 8 million, which is 80%.